married her. That you right. She was married to him. She deserved that money.
Eddie Murphy and Tracey Edmonds had one of the shortest marriages in Hollywood. They split up just 2 weeks after tying the knot in 2008, but what happened, why did they call it quits, and where did they stand now? Eddie and Tracey seemed to genuinely be in love. The duo were constantly photographed, holding hands, sharing laughs, and going everywhere together. So when they announced their decision to finally tie the knot legally, it wasn't exactly shocking. Still, people had questions. This has to be expected since at the time, Eddie was one of the biggest names in the business. He'd been involved in a bunch of different relationships, and he became known as the resident Hollywood playboy back in the day. Whitney Houston, the late singer, had quite a passionate affair with Eddie before her marriage to Bobby Brown in the mid-1980s. According to one of Whitney's friends, she made her friends watch Coming to America multiple times because she was so infatuated with Eddie. When the two finally got together, people described them as being so in love that despite all the cameras following them constantly, they only ever had eyes for each other, and they talked and laughed like they were the only two people in the room. This was apparently a pattern with Eddie, as many of his exes, including Paulette McNeely, Tamara Hood, and Mel B, were just infatuated with him. Eddie was also previously married to model Nicole Mitchell, with whom he went on to have 5 children. But what happened with him and Tracey? Tracey rose to the top in her career as a movie producer. She was previously married to Kenneth Babyface Edmonds for about 15 years. He was also in the entertainment industry, working as an R&B singer/songwriter. The couple went on to have 2 children together, but when speaking about their time together, Tracey described their relationship as below and unemotional. Following their split, she fell in love with Eddie and went on to marry him. However, the longevity of both of their previous marriages did not rub off on the new union. After initially becoming engaged in 2007, a representative for Eddie told the press that the couple were very much in love and were excited about spending the rest of their lives together. The pair were, however, tight-lipped about their wedding, with Tracey only telling reporters that they wanted to make it fun, small, and casual. So it wasn't really that much of a surprise when Eddie and Tracey dipped to the French Polynesian region of Bora Bora to have their 2008 wedding ceremony. The couple exchanged rings and said their vows in the very romantic setting of the island. Speaking on how the event played out, Tracey explained that they almost had to cancel due to the rain that day, but they managed to sneak in the ceremony during a little break in the downpour. They apparently rushed to the beach and managed to tie the knot before the rain began again. Tracey said that it was all simply perfect, but that's where it gets kind of weird, because according to one witness who spoke to People magazine, Eddie didn't actually appear very engaged during the ceremony. Another witness stated that the couple argued continuously and they heard wailing and Tracey sobbing right before their honeymoon. It was apparently quite an event. Strangely enough, the couple's marriage was also not technically legal in the United States, as under US law, the lovebirds needed a wedding on US soil to legalize the union. Then a few days later, Eddie and Tracey came forward and announced to the press in a statement that after much consideration and discussion, they had mutually agreed to forego a legal ceremony as they believed it wasn't necessary to define their relationship further. They explained that the recent symbolic union in Bora Bora was representative of the deep love, friendship, and respect that they had for one another on a spiritual level, but apparently they then decided to remain friends. This news came as a surprise to everyone who recalled how head over heels in love they were just a few weeks prior. According to sources, Tracey had initiated the divorce. She apparently chose to cut their marriage short due to Eddie's perceived change in behavior. More was revealed by a close friend of Tracey who claimed that Eddie flipped a switch after their union. He allegedly became kind of bossy and physically intimidating. Additionally, his friend claimed that Eddie insisted his mother accompany them on their honeymoon. This seemed kind of weird, but there were rumors that Tracey was not well liked by Eddie's mom, Lillian. According to sources, Lillian essentially told Eddie that he had to choose between her and Tracey. If that's true, then Eddie's choice is pretty clear, judging by the sudden end of their marriage. However, there were also other rumors about why their relationship ended. One alleged reason was that Tracey wouldn't change her last name, but that doesn't seem very likely to be true, since changing her name was one of the compromises Tracey had made in the few short days of their marriage. All the wedding invites and place cards had even labeled her as Miss Murphy. Another compromise Tracey made was the agreement to sign a prenup. In fact, sources said she was happy to sign the prenup as she had her own money and was very accommodating. So although no one could for sure say what the last straw for Tracey was that made her decide to call it quits, she obviously put in a lot of work to ensure the marriage lasted. However, marriage is a two-way street, and it's possible that Eddie just didn't put in that much effort. The couple's eventual decision to split up was pretty easy, as they weren't legally married in the US. But after their split, people still kept tabs on them, wanting to know what they got up to after their failed union. Following the chaos, both parties appeared to move on from one another pretty quickly. Just a couple of years later, Eddie began dating Paige Butcher, and the couple welcomed their first child together in 2019. Interestingly, his first child with Paige was his 10th child. In fact, his relationship with Tracey might be one of the few times he's been involved with anyone that intensely without having a child with them. His reasons for having so many kids are pretty obvious, and he's recently claimed that being a father brings him more joy than anything else in life. And a couple of years ago, his son Miles had a child of his own, about which Eddie said that there's no sweeter blessing than seeing one's grandchild. It's not clear if Eddie and Paige will have any more kids in the future, but one thing we do know is that the relationship has far outlasted his 14-day marriage to Tracey. But anyway, what do you guys think about all this? Did you know about Eddie and Tracey's bizarrely short marriage? Why do you think they called it quits so soon after the wedding? Let me know in the comments below.